Want to kill a big dream, tell it to a small-minded person. I told everybody at 10 years old I was going to be on TV. I had a little problem when I said that. I had a severe stuttering problem. I could not talk outside of my house. So when I wrote on that paper, the assignment was write on a piece of paper what you want to be when you grow up. I'm 10. I wrote I want to be on TV. That was that faith, the belief in things that you cannot see. I ain't see no way I could be on TV, but I wrote it down. I didn't know no better. I'm 10, I wrote it down. Teacher called me to the front of the class. She called me to the front. I'm thinking, I'm going up here to get a gold star. I ain't never had one before. I can't tell you how wrong I was. That lady didn't call me up there to give me no gold star. She called me up there to humiliate me. And she just said, why would you write something like this on your paper? And I'm standing there. I'm trying to get it out. She said, who in this school ever been on TV? Who in your family ever been on TV? She said, look at you standing there. You can't even talk. How they gonna put somebody like you on TV? So every Christmas, I send her a flat screen TV. Because I don't want her to miss me. I want her to see what God had done for me.
Because life doesn't happen to you, it happens for you.
They're gonna miss it. They're gonna miss the greatest part of you, the greatest part of your destiny, the greatest part of your creativity. It took everything you went through yesterday to get you ready for what you are about to do today. You are standing on the verge of a great awakening, or you wouldn't be here.
There's nothing you can do about the past, but you can do a great deal about your future. You can make changes in your life in a fairly short period of time. You can make changes you can't even conceive of now. If you give yourself a chance, the first thing you'll know, you'll be able to do things you never thought you could do. You'll be able to handle things you never thought you could handle. You'll have ideas that you've never had before. When you know what you want, and you want it badly enough, the answers will come to you. I can't tell you why it works. All I know is, it works. Ask. Of all the important skills to learn in life, be sure to include the skill of asking. What do you want? And the complete formula is staggering. It says ask, and you will receive. But you've got to do better than work hard and be sincere all of your life. You'll wind up broke and embarrassed. You've got to be better than a good worker. You've got to be a good asker. Let me give you some key points on this asking and receiving. Here's part of the philosophy that helped me to change. Asking starts the receiving process. Asking is like pushing a button, and all this machinery starts working, mental and emotional machinery. I don't even know how it works, but I do know it works. So asking is the beginning of receiving. Receiving is like the ocean. There's plenty. Here, success is not in short supply. It isn't rationed, so that when you step up to the window, it's all gone. No, no. Well, if that's true, what is the problem? Well, the problem is, some people go to the ocean with a teaspoon. Have you got the picture? What I suggest you do in view of the size of the ocean is trade your teaspoon for at least a bucket, and you will look better at the ocean with a bucket. Receiving is not the problem. You don't have to work on receiving. It's automatic. Now here's something else to remember about asking. One is ask with intelligence. It didn't say ask intelligently, but I'm sure it meant that. Be clear, be specific. Intelligent asking means how high, how long, how much. Describe what you want. Define it. Remember, well-defined goals are like magnets. The better you define them, the stronger they pull.
Now, if you were going to ask intelligently, there might be 5 elements to that. Number one, you'd have to ask specifically, wouldn't you? Very often, you're getting what you're asking for. You're just not aware of how general you're asking. Clarity is power. The more clear you are about exactly what it is you want, the more your brain knows how to get there. Your brain is a servo mechanism. Your brain, when you condition it, knows exactly what to go for and it'll find a way to get there. Your brain spends most of its time trying to make sure you don't notice because you'll go crazy if you notice everything. But when you decide what's most important to you, your brain goes after it. If you don't know exactly what you want or you let yourself get beyond that into something general, you're not going to achieve it. Clarity is power. You got to know the specific result you're after. What do you want? If you can't answer that question right now in your personal life, in your body, in your relationships, in your finances, in your spirituality, then you're not going to be as fulfilled as you want to be.
Give your goals purpose. Answer both questions. What do I want? That's the object. What for? That's purpose. What you want is powerful and it will pull. But what you want it for is more powerful. Ask with faith. It means believe you can get what you want like a child, not an adult. Many adults are too skeptical. They've lost that wonderful childlike faith and trust. Don't let that happen to you. Believe in, have faith in yourself and your goals. Develop that kind of enthusiasm toward your life and your goals. And be curious like a child. Kids can ask 1,000 questions. Just when you think they're finished, they come up with 1,000 more. Have plenty of curiosity. Ask questions. That's how you learn. Another fringe benefit of setting goals is what it does for your ability to manage your time effectively. While we're talking about goals, I'd like to share a few ways your use of time are affected by or influence the achievement of your goals. Time essentials come from objectives well defined. Time can't be critical if objectives aren't defined. Write your goals down and set careful priorities. Sometimes priorities are determined by the season. For a farmer in springtime, the season dictates his most important activities. One of the difficulties of living in an industrialized society is the losing of the sense of seasons. It's easy to keep going from 9 to 5, year in and year out, and lose a natural sense of priorities and appropriate time. Keep an eye on your own seasons, lest you lose track of values and substance.
I just wanted to remind you to dream and dream big and understand that your family and friends and loved ones, in most cases, boyfriends, girlfriends, they will be the first to try and talk you out of your dreams, your visions and ideas. They'll laugh at you. They'll call you names because they have no dreams. They have no hunger for success. They don't have an appetite. They don't want it.
Don't spend minor time on major things. It's easy to get values mixed up. The man spends 3 hours watching television and only 30 minutes playing with his kids. Something is probably out of line there, right? Don't spend major money on minor things. Here is a great goal-achieving tip. Don't mistake movement for achievement. It's possible to be busy all day, come home exhausted, and only then realize that very little of your day consisted of productive activities. Don't get faked out by being busy. It isn't going hard all day that counts. It's the doing what, the value that counts. Another essential is concentration. The best use of time comes from putting plenty of value in it. And concentration means you take that challenge seriously. It's called careful investment for maximum results. Making a call, having a conversation, trying to solve a problem, concentrate. You won't believe the effect this will have on your life. Now, there is a time to let your mind wander. At that appointed time, you can go off for that walk on the beach, away from business. Let the breezes blow and your mind soar. Do some dreaming. That's healthy. But do it at that pre-planned time. At all other tasks, concentrate. Careful goal setting could be the time management answer you've been looking for. Goals well defined and well described and well thought out make us look carefully at the time we have to make all of our dreams come true. The answers to do better come from the necessity to do better. Now there is a last main point to consider. You won't get everything you want. What a statement to make after studying how to get whatever you want. But you won't get everything you want. And the reason is, it's not that kind of planet. Sometimes it's going to hail on your crop and rain on your parade. I'm sure you are very well aware of this. But in my opinion, if you work the system I've just shared with you, you will get more than plenty.
I was going through my life. I left school at 15. I didn't take a major exam because I went to be a professional footballer with Coventry and others. And then my career ended with rheumatoid arthritis. I played a whole year of league football with rheumatoid arthritis. That's a whole story in itself. But what that did is it developed in you, because all these things are within us, and experience brings them out. And if you don't have experience, often they don't come out. So I have this phrase, life tends to give us our greatest gifts, brilliantly disguised as our worst nightmares. Mm. Because often our worst nightmare will bring things out of us that wouldn't otherwise happen. This is why if you bring your kids up and you protect them from everything, you're doing them no favors, because you're not developing strong people who will be able to deal with life. You're developing people who are always looking to be protected. And look at what we have now. And once you have a generation or you have a population that wants to be protected and perceives itself all the time as being a victim, where does the point of power move? It moves to authority, because people look to authority to protect them from what they fear or what they feel victimized by. So what we've been developing is a population of emotionally weak people who perceive themselves in terms of victims. When you have challenges in life and you meet them, it brings something out of you. So, for instance, when my arthritis came, and I didn't know what else am I going to do at that time. I wanted to be a footballer. I wanted to be a footballer since I was a kid. And now my joints are swelling up, and they're telling me I'm going to have to pack it in. Now I thought, I'm not packing it in. I want to give it a go. So I went to a club called Hereford United that was a league club then. And I played the whole season with rheumatoid arthritis. Every morning when we were training and warming up for training on cold English mornings, I was in agony. And I would be limping and what have you, and the players would say, "Oh, what's wrong now, Ike?" And I would give a different excuse. "Oh, got a bit of a pull. Oh, I think I've got a bit of a blister." But actually it was the same thing all the time. And I played the season out, and eventually it got so bad that I couldn't carry on. But it brought something out of me, this determination not to give up and not to give in. And then I decided, because when I was a kid, I was always reading newspapers, and I was very interested in journalism. So I became a journalist, and long story short, I eventually became a television presenter.
Well, very well known back then.
Yeah, I was. Yeah, I was a national television presenter in those days. And when I look at my life now, you see, and what I'm doing, my life before, which appeared to be a series of random events. Same with you. You've had your challenges in life. What has it done? It's made you the person you are. You wouldn't be the person you are now without them. Mm-hmm. And people say, "Well, I regret that. I regret that." Well, the thing to regret is if you don't learn from the experience. That's the regret. But learning from the experience, well, you've had a gift. What are you regretting for? And so I went into journalism because I was very interested in that. And I eventually became this television presenter. And when you look at my life, as I was saying, all the different elements of it, including going into journalism and seeing the media for what it is, going into politics with the Green Party and seeing politics for what it is, well, I didn't know at the time, but they were all giving me very, very important understandings that will be useful later on.
Next is worry. I mean, you know, you got to worry some. But here's the clue. Don't let it conquer you. If it's 2 o'clock in the morning and your daughter's not home, yes, you've got to worry. If you're in New York City and step off the curb and one of those yellow taxis is coming, yes, you better worry. But mark this down. Let worry alarm you, but don't let it conquer you. We all need to be concerned. We all need to be concerned. If there's enemies around, we need to be concerned. If it isn't going well, yes, we need to be concerned. But I'm asking you to let it concern, let it touch you, let it alarm you, but don't let it conquer you. Take all of the worries you've got and try to drive them into the smallest corner you can possibly find. If you don't, worry will be like a mad dog loose in the house. It'll have you in the corner. So whatever your enemies are here, drive them into a small corner. Here's the next one. Over caution. Hey, in the spring, if you're too cautious, you never will plant the seed. If you're too cautious, you won't take the chance. If you're too cautious, you won't step out front. If you're so cautious, you probably never would have done your first meeting. Make this note. You got to take a chance. Drive your tendency to be too cautious. Drive it into a small corner. Yes, you can't be gullible. No, you can't go for everything. Yes, you've got to be careful. Yes, but don't be so cautious that it paralyzes you. Don't be so cautious that it restricts your chance to do better. See if you can't conquer that. Here's the next one. Pessimism. Yes, there's the dark side. Yes, there's the problem side. Yes, there's the difficult side. But I'm telling you, it's not the only side. Yes, the glass is half empty, but it's also half full. Yes, there's the dark side, but there's the light side. Yes, the night comes, but so does the day. I'm telling you, don't be afraid of both sides, opportunity and difficulty, chance and danger. Learn how to handle it all. Now here's the last one. When you get back home, you've got to deal with it. I have to deal with it. We all have to deal with it. And that's complaining. Yes, there's room for a legitimate complaint. Yes, there's room for a legitimate business complaint. Yes, there's room for a legitimate complaint with the 13th floor. Yes, there's room for a legitimate complaint with the warehouse. Yes, there's room for a legitimate complaint once in a while with each other. But here's what I'm asking you. Don't let complaining master your life. If you become a chronic complainer, I'm telling you, nobody wants to be around you. Chronic complainer. I wouldn't want you for a business partner. Don't let complaining conquer your life.
It's really just a language trick. It's really just something that you need to understand, that how you speak to yourself determines how you act. And a lot of you guys make things harder on yourselves than what it really has to be. For example, when we talk about building a company and we talk about sacrificing the weekends and the nights out and the times with friends, the vacations, we talk about it in terms of like it's this painful thing, right? Sacrifice. Or we talk about building a body, or we talk about building your mind through, maybe 75 hard. We talk about sacrifice, and we talk about how hard it is, and we talk about how painful it is. And we almost like hang our hats on that. And I get that. I do that as well. Like, I like to think I'm a bad motherfucker. I like to think I'm putting in the fucking work nobody else will do. And that makes me feel good. But the problem with that, guys, is that sometimes that language can actually make shit artificially harder than what it has to be. And so I want you to do this. I want you to stop thinking of things in terms of sacrifice. And I want you to start thinking in terms of investment. All right. One of the biggest mistakes that you will make as a human on a path to success, whether that success be financially, physically, spiritually, in interpersonal relationships, whatever it is, there's success in all areas. When you think of it as a sacrifice, you're making it extra hard on yourself. And so what I want you to do is I want you to start thinking about investment. And I want you to understand that when you miss the weekends with the guys, or miss the night out with the girls, or you pass on the trip, or you do this, you're not sacrificing anything. You're actually making an investment, because the investment is delayed gratification, and you just haven't seen the payoff yet. All right. So when you miss a night out to work out, you're not sacrificing a night out. You're making an investment in the future. And that investment in the future is going to create a better life. It's going to create more money. It's going to create better relationships. It's going to create a better body. It's going to create more confidence. When you're getting something in return for what you're giving up, it's not really a sacrifice. It's an investment. And this is something that all of you guys need to get really clear on, because as men especially, and some women, we like to feel tough. We like to feel badass. And I'm guilty of pushing that a little bit, sometimes too, because I like to feel badass. But the truth of the matter is that when I skip something fun to do something that's hard, I know that there's a payoff coming later. And what this really comes down to is understanding delayed gratification.
A champion doesn't become a champion in the ring. The becoming happens during his daily routine. The practicing, the developing the discipline that when applied consistently can get you to the next level.
When you live like this, when you get up early, when you go the extra mile, when you have painstaking attention to detail, when you live like this, when you devote yourself to your craft, when there's a sparkle in your eye to change the world and live your heroic potential, you'll be called a freak, an oddball, a misfit. But just remember this, if people don't misunderstand you, you're not playing at your personal genius.
Take your seed, take your gift. Get away from these people that's in your life that ain't doing nothing. Get away from people in your life that's hating. Get away from your family members that ain't ever opened a business. Get away from them. Don't die with this gift and don't never use it. All of y'all got this wonderful gift, but you gotta use it.
Where are the warriors that say, I'm gonna make a decision and I'm keeping it? And regardless of how you feel about it, it doesn't matter if the world is crumbling or down around you. Just do the thing every single day, whether you feel like it or not.
You've got to fix your strategy. If you've been doing what you've been doing for 5 years and it's not working, it doesn't mean you need to give up your idea. You might need to give up your strategy. Your strategy of accomplishment has to change with the times. The person who wants what you have is a person who sees what you have as an answer to their problem. People will go get answers. They are not looking for problems. What do you solve with what you bring? And you don't have to have a degree to do this.
You should go and live your dream. Just go see. Your real life is not in your current situation. Your real life is not in your paycheck. Your real life, he tucks it away in your imagination. Everything you imagine is a preview to a coming attraction. Once you understand that and quit looking at your imagination as hocus pocus, it opens up a wide range of things and possibilities. That simply means everything that's in your imagination is a preview of a coming attraction that God has for you. That's why when you tell your imagination to the wrong people, it don't go nowhere.
And we look at other people's success and we start creating all of these excuses as to why we're not successful like them. Whenever you live insecure, you will speak like a victim. And when you're a victim, you give away your power. Listen, I'm not trying to condemn you. I'm trying to confront you. Some of you tonight, you need to get sick and tired of living in this place. There is no person above you. When you're insecure, you're addicted to man's approval. Yet what you'll find with insecure people is the more that they get man's approval, the more they want it even more. And when they don't get man's approval, they become even more toxic.
Habits are the building blocks of our lives. It's what you can do every single day that matters more than anything. Devote yourself to something bigger. Be decisive about what you're going to do. Say, I'm going to do it, and that's it. And then be disciplined about getting it done every single day, whether you feel like it or not.
letting it go so you can grow. Develop compassion for yourself despite your human defects. You will never be perfect. You will never be perfect. You're human. You've made a lot of mistakes. Guess what? You're not through yet. You're going to do some more. Hurry up and get it over with. Got to learn to be gentle with yourself. Make it all right. What you don't know, mistakes that you make. It's okay. Handle it. Learn from the experience. Decide that you are to be up front, to be true to yourself. Are you getting what you need out of it?
Are the things that you're doing and the people that you're hanging out with and the places and the circles that you're traveling in, does that reflect a person that actually loves themselves? You know that they don't like you. You know what they're saying about you behind your back. You know they're jealous and envious of who you are and the things that you got going on in your life and your career. And because you're so desperate to have people around you and in your life, you continue to go back.
A person who has purpose in their life, they have something to go for, some meaning. If you have a list of high purpose in your life, it pulls you toward the future. And the more powerful the purpose is, the stronger it pulls.
If you are looking to any human being to meet all your needs, you're going to be severely disappointed because nobody can do that. Only God can meet all your needs. If you are looking to any human being to keep you happy, you're going to be unhappy most of your life. Human love runs out. Human people disappoint you. So you better put your happiness in somebody and something that cannot be taken from you. You need to look to God.
Because what was appropriate as a system is now inappropriate because I have outgrown the way I speak, the way I understand, and the way that I think. I am bigger than the system. The system can't put me away. I must put it away.
This idea that we see other people above us, but when we look at ourselves, we're beneath, we're lower than. Nothing will hold you back more than insecurity. Insecurity kills more dreams than failure ever will. Some of you are like, I'm a failure. I don't have any dreams. You're lying to yourself. You didn't even try.
If you don't have these strong purposes for the future, it's easy to get swallowed by a bad day. So if you want something to pull you through all kinds of challenges, all kinds of difficulties, and things that come at you, you got to have something on out there, beyond today, that pulls you into the future. And the clearer it is, the stronger it pulls. The more dynamic it is, the more it affects your life, your spirit, your heart, your soul. And if you have good input, like good ideas, I'm telling you, there isn't anything you can't accomplish. That is purpose.
See, all of us have greatness within us. But when you don't come to grips with your greatness, I'm saying that you're positioning yourself to be a miserable person. How else do we do it? Procrastination. We just put things off over and over and over again. Why? Because we haven't accepted it. We don't feel deserving. So we sabotage ourselves by not ever taking care of business. We get real busy doing a lot of things where we don't have any time.
And if you will allow anyone, any voice on the inside to talk you out of this moment, you will forfeit it and be stuck washing your nets when there's a great drought of fish waiting you if you have the courage to believe.
I become confident when I get the right view of other people and I get the right view of myself. It's amazing, right? You ever notice that arrogance requires advertising, but confidence speaks for itself? Insecurity, cynicism, and arrogance, they're all loud, but confidence doesn't even have to speak.
Where does self-confidence come from? Self-confidence really comes from feeling good about yourself. And one of the best ways to feel good about yourself is at the end of the day to know that you poured it on. You did your best. At the end of the day, when you've really poured it on and you've done all the stuff, self-confidence grows. That self-confidence affects your health, it affects your future, it affects your psyche. Self-confidence comes from the lack of neglect. Self-confidence means willingness to do whatever it takes to achieve. That starts to develop unbelievable self-confidence.
Let me say something to you that none of your haters will ever want you to know. You are much closer to your dream than you think you are. It could happen much sooner and much bigger than you think. And it is your ability to begin to believe and get real clarity of perception, of time, believe it's going to happen sooner, that will get you to act faster and be less distracted by the feedback or the weather that happens while you're on this run. It is much closer than you think it is. And it's your ability to begin to bring, not only get clear about what it is, but bring it closer.
Self-confidence also comes from the ability to rise above your circumstances. To rise above what happens, the petty little things, the discouraging things that would sink everyone else's ship except yours. That kind of willingness to overcome all circumstances.
Why spend the rest of your life being miserable, frustrated, and insecure, not really feeling as good as you have a responsibility to feel? Feeling good isn't just an opportunity. Feeling good is a responsibility that we all have for ourselves. I don't remember the last time I lost sleep over a hater and the things that people are running around saying. Why? Because I know exactly how I feel about me.
These haters out there, they exist, believe me. I have them all over the place. I've had them all my life. Some of the haters in your life are the best at trying to pretend to be concerned, aren't they? They're pretending to give you feedback only to lead you in the wrong direction so you lose. And so the real haters know how to pose as critics. And so it's your ability to distinguish between these two people that's going to have everything to do with whether you succeed. Keeping the haters in your life around you and letting their feedback and criticism affect you in a negative way could steal your dream. And they are dream stealers every single time.
I know what's happening. I know who I am. I know what my intentions are. I know my heart. And more importantly, God knows my heart. So for it to appear to be this, appear to be that, and then you running around saying whatever you're saying about me, that's fine. You have a job to do. You're bored. You have nothing going on in your life, so you focused on my life.
Confidence has to do with inspiring trust, which you can only do by having faith in other people. Confidence enables you to walk into a room full of strangers and converse with anyone without fear. It makes the strangers in that room think, here is someone I not only can talk to, here's someone I want to talk to. An ill-at-ease person makes everyone around him ill at ease. Feeling right makes others feel right, and they in turn give back what's inside them, the very confidence that you give out.
Because when you can start saying yes to loving yourself, you start to realize just how far you're able to go. And I wish people knew that the ability to succeed, it's all inside of you. And I hope and pray that for all of you, at some time in your life, you'll realize that the best version of yourself is so beautiful and so amazing. And yes, people may not accept you all the time and they may hurt you, but I don't want you to keep that in, because you were meant to be a certain type of person. And there's somebody out there in this world who needs to see you for who you are.
I don't care how pretty you look on the outside. I don't care how much you dress it up. I don't care what kind of makeup you put on it. Insecurity on the inside is one of the ugliest traits that you could ever walk out. It's just not who you're called to be. There's so much more in store for you.
Well, I'm going to be selfish and take care of myself more, which I haven't for a decade.
I'm going to tell you what, you owe it to yourself, everybody. Right. Whether you've been wounded or not, right, wherever you are in life, because the fact of what you just said, you got to remember this. If you don't take care of yourself, you can't take care of the other people around you.
Right.
It's confidence that makes people want to believe what you say to them,
want to accept you as you present yourself. So confidence is not some little thing. It's a powerful force that can grow in power and flourish.
If you don't care at all about pleasing other people, if you're only living for yourself, you're a narcissist. So there's nothing wrong with wanting the approval of other people. But like all of God's good gifts, what is a good thing in your life, a legitimate need, can be misused. You have a need for food in your life, it can be misused. Everybody agree with that? Everything that God gave us as gifts actually can be misused if we don't handle it correctly.
How do I learn to believe in myself so that others will believe in me too? A truly confident person's belief in himself is strong enough so that he's able to believe in others. Conversely, distrust in yourself breeds distrust in everyone you meet. A confident person gives you confidence. She creates confidence in others. The strength of her character makes you a stronger character.
If you keep doing what you've been doing, you're going to keep getting what you've been getting. If somebody who had come from the bottom and got to this position I'm in told me that this is the way I would try it, if I was you, I would try that. I bet you it'll work, though.
So our lives, first of all, are affected by what we know. Second, our lives are affected by how we feel. Third, our lives are affected by what we do. It is so important to understand this. If you want to influence and help people, here's the key. Success is a doing. You've got to actually do it. Activity is high priority in the life process to try to get maximum benefit out of what we have available. Activity. Now, here's an important question. What is your philosophy about activity? What about hard work? What about long hours? What about full days? If you're doing something, how hard should you go at it? How much time should you put in? Everybody has to develop their philosophy about activity. Just by way of review, let me quote you. Old Testament says, 6 days activity, 1 day rest. That's called philosophy of ratio of activity. What is a good ratio of rest and activity? Old Testament says 6 days of one, 1 day of the other. You say, well, that's kind of old and outmoded. Well, maybe it is, I don't know. Maybe that's too old a philosophy. The old 6-1. I don't know, who knows? Now, we've got it down to 5 and 2, maybe 5 and 2 is okay, I don't know. If God would have thought of 5 and 2, he might have made it 5 and 2, right? You can't think of everything when you're putting one of these together, I guess. Who knows? But we've all got to have a philosophy about activity. Because your philosophy of activity will affect the rest of your life. Not to think so is naive. I've got a good clue on rest. Make rest a necessity, not an objective. The reason for life is enterprise. The reason for life is productivity. The reason for life is to see what we can do with the seasons and the chances and our mind and our spirit, ourselves, to see what we can do. That's what life is all about, to see what you can do. Now, the doing, you've got to have a philosophy on how much time you're going to spend doing. And I've decided that enterprise is better than ease. If you rest too long, the weeds take the garden in the summer. So you can't rest too long. Life doesn't stand still. And the threat of life will start overwhelming the values of life if you just let it go. So we've all got to have a philosophy about activity. Let me give you one of the best I know. Here's what it says. An ancient phrase says, whatever your hands find to do, do it with all your might. That's a philosophy. You say, well, I'm getting by with half my might. Well, okay. But you've got to decide on your own personal philosophy of activity. Now, this philosophy says, do it with all your might. Do you think there's any value or virtue in that? Well, I don't know. You've got to decide. You've got to weigh this out, right? You've got to evaluate it for yourself and put it on your own mental scales, and you've got to come up with your own answers. How hard should you work? I'm teaching kids now the ant philosophy. The ant philosophy. An ancient story says everybody should study ants, especially lazy people. The ant philosophy. Let me give it to you. It's very brief. Number one, ants never quit. Good philosophy. If they're headed somewhere, you try to stop them, they'll look for another way. They'll climb over, they'll climb under, they'll climb around. They keep looking for another way. What a neat philosophy. Never quit looking for a way to get where you're supposed to go. Number two, ants think winter all summer. That's an important philosophy. You can't be so naive as to think summer all summer. You say, well, isn't it nice? You can't think nice when it's nice. We will call you naive. An ancient story says, don't build your house on the sand in the summer. Why would we be given that advice? Because it's easy to build your house on the sand in the summer, but you must not be so disillusioned. So ants are smart. They think winter all summer. In the summer, you got to think storm. You got to think rock. You can't think sand and sun. Key philosophy. Number three, ants think summer all winter. That's so important. I'm sure all winter long ants say, this won't last long, we'll soon be out here. What a neat philosophy, what a neat attitude. This won't last long, we'll soon be out of here. First warm day, the ants are out. First warm day, they're out. Now if it turns cold again, they'll dive back down, but first warm day, they're out. They can't wait to get out. What a neat philosophy, can't wait to get at it. We teach in leadership skills. Average people look forward to getting off. Successful people look forward to getting on with it. The guy doesn't want off, he wants on. And that's what starts to transform his life, into the doing, into the activity. Now here's the last of the ant philosophy. How much will an ant gather during the summer to prepare for the winter? Answer, all he possibly can. What an incredible philosophy, the all you possibly can philosophy. How much should you do? You got to come up with a philosophy of how much should you do. We're all governed by our thinking, our evaluation, what we've decided and how we feel, and this is a big question. What should you do? Shoaff gave me the best answer when I was 25 years old. Here's what he said. Do all you can. How many books should you read in the next 6 months? As many as you can fit into your schedule. Because the book you miss won't help. What if a guy missed the book, Think and Grow Rich? The guy's 40 and poor and he missed the book. He lived in the right country, but he missed the book. He was a nice guy, but he missed the book. He was very sincere, but he missed the book. He worked hard, but he missed the book. I'm telling you, if you miss the book, no telling what treasure will be missing in your life if you just miss the book. How hard should you work? The ant philosophy. The man says to me, I'm making about $50,000 a year. Isn't that enough? Now, what would be your philosophical answer to someone who says, I'm making $50,000 a year. Isn't that enough? He said, my kids are doing okay. And he said, I got my bills paid. So what would you say if a guy says, I'm making $50,000 a year. Isn't that enough? I said, yes, $50,000 a year is enough if it's the best you can do. We don't call enough an amount. We only call enough your best. If you're capable of making $500,000 a year and you make $50,000 a year, we call you loser. Now, it isn't the difference between $50,000 and $500,000 that's important. What's important is the full extent of your reach. That's what's important. The only way to feel maximum good about yourself is to extend yourself to the full capacity of your reach, your intellectual reach and your physical reach, and your potential and your possibility to do the best you can. What should you do? All you can. How many books should you read? As many as you can. How many skills should you learn? As many skills as you can. How many people should you touch? As many as you can. What all should you engage in? As many things as you can. Why not go to the max? I've got a good question for you. How tall will a tree grow? As tall as it can. Did you ever hear of a tree growing half as high as it could? No. Trees don't grow half. They grow all. Full. They drive their roots as deep as they can, stretch as high as they can, produce every leaf they can. Trees go to the max. Now, why would human beings settle for less than the max of their capacity? Simple answer. They have the power of choice to do so. It gives us the dignity of being human beings called the power of choice. So we've got a couple of choices. Let me give them to you. Here they are. To be all or to be part. Now, this is a philosophical discussion. You can choose to be less than you were designed to be, or you can choose to be all you were designed to be. I'm merely suggesting that you ponder what the all might do for your life in the next 1 year, 3 years, 5 years.
I don't need you to tell me how to act when I get healed. I need to teach me how to survive when I don't get healed. I don't need you to tell me how to shout when I got a new job, a new house, a new car. I got enough sense to be happy when things go right, but teach me how to be happy when all hell is breaking loose. Things are getting bad instead of better. Teach me how to stand when it's raining down on my face.
Do me a huge favor, stay thirsty. Stay thirsty, stay hungry. You want to kill an alligator, kill an alligator after he eats. They tell me that an alligator is at his worst point. Listen to me, he's most vulnerable when? After he's eaten. You heard what I said? After he eats that thing whole, right? Then he got to digest it. They say when he eats that whole thing, he's sitting there. That's when he's most vulnerable, when he's the slowest, when he's the slowest to respond. You want to kill an alligator, kill an alligator after he eats. And some of y'all have eaten and you ain't hungry no more. Some of y'all, you're a little too satisfied for me. And if you're going to get to that top level of greatness, you got to be hungry. Don't ever get satisfied. Don't ever get content. Don't ever get complacent, because the day you do, that's the day you go down here, all right?
You like to talk about the grind, but you don't really know what the grind's like. You finally made it to the big league, and now you want to chill? Now you got the big head? Now you can't grind? You here now. You here now. You finally made it. And this is where you break up? This is where you start chilling? This is where you get comfortable? You in the big leagues now. They watching you now. This is where you make it permanent. No, practice don't make perfect. Practice make permanence. This permanent, y'all. This is permanent. You can go wherever you want to go from here.
I wish I could back off. I wish I could tell you something else. I wish I could tell you you tired, go take a break. I wish I could tell you tired, rest for a year. I wish I could tell you that it's going to get easier. I wish I could tell you it's going to get easier. I wish I could tell you that if you just keep going, it's going to get lighter. I wish I could tell you that, but that's not the truth. The truth is, you got to find something within. You got to find something within, and that's got to push you, and that's got to elevate you, and that's got to drive you, and that's got to move you. And when you find out what your why is, and your why got to be deeper than you, when you find your why, you find a way to make it happen. What you cannot do is you cannot quit during the process. You cannot give up. Champions keep going when they don't have anything left in their tank, when they don't have no more. When it's over, when they're tired, when they're frustrated, that's when they get started. So let me just say this to you. If it was easy, boo, everybody would be a national champion. Everybody would be a millionaire or a billionaire. Everybody's company would blow up. Everybody would get a 4-year degree, a master's degree. Everybody would have a medical degree or a PhD or a law degree if it was easy, but it ain't. You don't have to be talented. You don't have to be gifted. You don't have to be the quickest, the strongest. You don't have to be the most intelligent. You just got to grind, though. Your grind